Hello, hello! Pete's Pax here, and we're back with Dungeons & Dragons Commander, deck number 4, I think it is. It's the last one. This is Aura of Courage, the green, white, blue one. Let's see what's in here. As with all Commander decks from the past couple of years, you have 9 tokens and a divider on the inner shell, and a themed deck box. Alright. And inside we have our deck, an insert, spacer, and a themed life counter. Right. Nice themed life counter. The insert has on one side an overview of the rules for Commander. Along with a little blurb about the deck itself. And Commander rules. And then on the back side, you have 2 ads, and then 3 little bios of the potential commanders that are included in the deck. All right. Let's get in a little closer and take a look at what's in here. Alright, the first commander is the face commander, Galia, Kindler of Hope, which is for 1 green and a white, 1 green, white, blue, a 4/4 vigilant elf knight. It says you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast aura and equipment spells from the top of your library. When you cast an equipment spell this way, it gains. When this equipment enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. So, pretty nice effect there. Very similar to Sigarda's Aid in a lot of ways. Then the second commander, we have Storvold, Frost Giant Jarl. So for 4 green, white, blue, you get a 7/7 legendary giant with Ward 3. Other creatures you control have Ward 3. Whenever Storvold enters the battlefield or attacks, choose one or both. Target creature has base power and toughness 7/7 until end of turn. And target creature has base power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn. Let's see. We have a couple of reprints from AFR. We have Evolving Wilds, Clay Golem. Our first AFC card. Oh, no, Clay Golem is an AFC card. Apparently we just have Evolving Wilds. It's a 4-mana 4/4 Golem with 6, roll a d8, Monstrosity X, where X is the result. And then Berserk, when it becomes monstrous, destroy target permanent. Then we have Ebony Fly, 2-mana artifact. Enters the battlefield tap for colorless. 4 mana, roll a d6. Until end of turn, you may have Ebony Fly become a XX insect artifact creature with flying, where X is a result. Whenever it attacks, another target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. We have Sword of Hours, 2 mana equipment. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. When a equipped creature deals combat damage, roll a d12. The result is greater than the damage dealt, or the result is 12, double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. Equip 2. Angelic Gift. It's a aura for 1 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and equipped creature has flying. Griff's Boon, 1 mana, or a white aura enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has flying. 4 and a white. Return Griff's Boon from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Valorous Stance, 1 and a white, instant. Choose one, target creature gains indestructible until end of turn, or destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. So, good way to get through those Sheoldreds. Brainstorm, instant for a blue. Draw 3 cards and put cards from the top of your from your hand on top of your library. 2 cards from your hand on top of your library. Curse of Verbosity. Two and a blue, aura, curse, enchant player. Whenever enchanted player is attacked, you draw a card. Each opponent attacking that player does the same. Eel Umbra, 1 and a blue, enchant aura. Flash, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and totem armor. If the enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura. Is what totem armor is. Psychic Impetus, 2 and a blue. For an aura, it's an enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded. It attacks each combat if able, and attacks a player other than you if able. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, you scry 2. Riverwise Augur, 3 and a blue for 2/2 Merfolk Wizard. When it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards and put 2 from your hand on top of your library in any order. So it's a brainstorm when it comes in. Serum Visions. Sorcery for a single blue. Draw a card, scry 2. One of the best cantrips ever printed, alongside Brainstorm. Abundant Growth. Enchant land for a green. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted land has tap, add 1 mana of any color. Acidic Slime, 3 green, for 2/2 ooze with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. Fertile Growth, 1 and a green, enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 of any color. Kenrith's Transformation. Now this is one of the few cards that can actually shut off a commander. So for 1 and a green, you have an enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3. Nature's Lore. 1 and a green sorcery, search your library for a forest card and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Keep in mind this says forest card, so this means triomes, duels, all of those work with this, as long as it has the card type forest. Paradise Druid, 1 and a green for 2/1 elf druid. It has hexproof as long as it's untapped, and you can tap it for 1 mana of any color. Rancor, a Hopper All-Star, also All-Star pretty much any time it's in standard, and it's pretty big in boggles. But for single green, you have an enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and has trample. When Rancor is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. Utopia Sprawl, very nice. For single green, you have Enchant Forest. When it enters the battlefield, choose a color. Whenever Enchanted Forest is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of the chosen color. Wild Growth, a lot of artifact ramp, or enchantment ramp in this. For single green, you have an enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional green. Bant Charm, green, white, blue, instant. Choose one, destroy target artifact, put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library, or counter target instant spell. Behemoth Sledge, very similar to the Elephant Hammer, aka Loxodon Warhammer. 1 green and a white for a equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has trample and lifelink, equipped 3. Shielding Plaques, 2 and a hybrid green-blue. An enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. It effectively imparts hexproof, but that doesn't actually use the hexproof keyword. So it actually gets around things that remove hexproof because it doesn't actually impart hexproof. Arcane Signet. We all know what that is. 2 mana mana rock for your color identity. We have Colossus Hammer. There's an entire deck in Modern built around this. But for a single colorless, you have an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +10/+10 and loses flying. Equip 8. So a upgrade path for this deck would be to add like Sigarda's Aid or Pure Steel Paladin if they're not already included in the deck, since this cares quite a bit about equipment. Explorer's Scope. Single mana. For colorless, you have an equipment. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. Equip 1. Now, this is a great built-in way to ramp, especially with effects such as Brainstorm, where you can manipulate the top card of your library. Say you have extra lands in your hand, you can put one on top of your library and attack with a creature with Explorer's Scope. Equip. We have Face Steed, 2 white for 4/4 elk. Whenever it attacks, another attacking creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Whenever a creature or planeswalker you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. It's a great kind of almost tax to draw a bunch of cards. Another card that would likely go well into this would be I can't think of the name of it. It's a single white 1/1 artifact creature that whenever your opponent casts a non-creature spell, unless they pay mana equal to its power, you draw a card. It's played all over Legacy and Modern, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head for some reason. Alright, next we have Holy Avenger, 2 and a white for an equipment. Equipped creature has double strike. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage, you may put an aura card from your hand onto the battlefield attached to it. Equip 2 and a white. Mantle of the Ancients, 3 white. Enchantment aura, enchant creature you control. When it enters the battlefield, return any number of target aura and/or equipment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. Robe of Stars, 1 and a white for an equipment. Equipped creature gets +0/+3. Astral Projection, 1 and a white. Equipped creature phases out. Well, that's neat. Treat it and anything attached to it as though they don't exist until its controller's next turn. It has Equip 1. That can actually be used to save the things that are attached to the creature as well, which is pretty cool. Valiant Endeavor, 4 white sorcery. Roll 2d6 and choose 1. Destroy each creature with power greater than or equal to that result. Then create a number of 2/2 white night creature tokens with vigilance equal to the other result. Diviner's Portent, X blue instant. Roll a d20 and add the number of cards in your hand. 1 through 14, draw X cards. 15 plus, draw X, or scry X, then draw X. Netherese Puzzle Ward, 3 and a blue, enchantment. Focus Beam, at the beginning of your upkeep, roll a d4. Scry X, where X is the result. Perfect Illumination, whenever you roll a die's highest natural result, draw a card. So for a d4, a 4, for d6, a 6, so on and so on and so on. Winged Boots, 1 and a blue, equipment. Equipped creature has flying and ward 4. Oh, that's actually really powerful. It has equipped 1. Belt of Giant Strength, 1 and a green, equipment. Equipped creature has a base power and toughness of 10/10. Equip 10. This ability costs X less to activate, where X is the power of the creature it targets. Huh. Okay. Song of Inspiration. 3 green, instant. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard. Roll a d20 and add the total mana value of those cards. 1 through 14, return those cards to your hand. 15 plus, return those cards to your hand. You gain life equal to their total mana value. So if the 2 cards have a mana value of 14 or higher, you will always have 15 plus. So say you return 2/7, 2/7 cost spells, or permanents rather. You'll always gain the life. Petty Bree of Mithril Hall. Green-white for a 2/2 legendary human archer. It's first strike, reach. Whenever Petty Bree of Mithril Hall attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each equipment attached to it. 1, remove all +1/+1 counters from it. It deals X damage to target attacking or blocking creature and opponent controls, where X is the number of counters removed this way. Alright. Ride the Avalanche. Green-blue instant. The next spell you cast this turn can be cast as though it had flash. When you cast your next spell this turn, put X +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature, where X is the mana value of that spell. Oh. That could have some interesting effects. Angel of Finality. 3 and a white for a 3/4 flyer. Flying angel, rather. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Pure Steel Paladin. This was one of the cards I mentioned earlier. It is also a core part of Hammer Time, which is the modern deck. Esper Sentinel. That was the card I couldn't remember earlier. Esper Sentinel. White, for a 2/2 human knight. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Metalcraft. Equipment you control have equip 0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. Which is especially great with all the equipment that we are running. Realmcloak Giant. 5 white for a Vigilant 7/7. It also has a adventure mode of Cast Off, which is 3 white, and has Destroy all non-giant creatures. Shrem, Senior Edificer. 1 and a white for a 2/2 legendary dwarf advisor. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. This, along with Pure Steel Paladin, are a core part of the deck called Cheerios as well. Winds of Wrath. 3 white for sorcery. Destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted. They can't be regenerated. So, Wrath for non-enchanted creatures. Imprisoned in the Moon. 2 and a blue. For an enchantment aura, enchant creature, land, or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent is a colorless land with tap add colorless, and loses all other card types and abilities. Prognostic Sphinx. 3 blue for a 3/5 flying sphinx. Discard a card. It gains hexproof until end of turn. Tap it. Whenever it attacks, scry 3. Greater Good. This is a card with a lot of fond memories. 2 green, enchantment. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then discard 3 cards. This, along with the Belt of Giant Strength and Pure Steel Paladin, would let you draw 10 cards and discard 3. Off of any creature, basically. Heroic Intervention. 1 and a green, instant. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Great way to save all of your creatures from targeted removal. Verdant Embrace. 3 green, enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has +3/+3 and has at the beginning of each upkeep create a 1/1 green Zapperling creature token. So it basically becomes Verdant Force. Cold Eye Selkie. 1 and 2 green-blue hybrid for a 1/1 Merfolk Rogue with Island Walk. This creature can't be blocked as long as defending player controls an island. Whenever a Cold Eye Sulky deals combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards. Fleecemane Lion. Green-white for a 3/3 cat with 3 green-white monstrosity 1. And as long as Fleecemane Lion is monstrous, it has hexproof and indestructible. Knight of Autumn. 1 green-white for a 2/2 or for a 2/1 Dryad Knight. When it enters the battlefield, choose one. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Knight of Autumn. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, where you gain 3 life. Very strong effect, and a decent-sized body. Argentum Armor. Now, this used to be used in the mono-white artifact deck. Similar, or there was a mono-white equipment deck similar to Cheerios and Hammer Time back around 2012-ish. That utilized Argentum Armor as a finisher, because you could put a equipment into play for free and then equip it for free and attack with flyer. But Argentum Armor is a 6-mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +6/+6. Whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy target permanent, and it has equip 6. We have Basilisk Collar, another fantastic artifact or equipment. For single mana, it's a equipment. An equipped creature has Death Touch and Lifelink, equipped 2. Masterwork of Ingenuity, 1 mana equipment. You may have Masterwork of Ingenuity enter the battlefield as a copy of any equipment on the battlefield. So, for instance, you could copy Argentum Armor for 1 mana. Moonsilver Spear, 4 mana equipment. Equipped creature has first strike. Whenever equipped creature attacks, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying, and it has equip 4. Now, this was actually the card that was given as a promo for Avacyn Restored. It was a special version of it. Sword of the Animist. Wow. It's a really good reprint. 2 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. It's a legendary artifact, by the way. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. As equipped 2. Let's see, then we have Canopy Vista, the Buddy Duel for green-white. Exotic Orchard, we all know what that does by now. Fortified Village, the Peak Land for green-white. Lumbering Falls, the green-blue manland from Zendikar, or Battle for Zendikar. Port Town, the blue-white Peakland. Prairie Stream, the blue-white Buddy Duel. Skycloud Expanse, filters for blue-white. Sungrass Prairie, filters for green-white. Soul Ring, we know what that is. Swiftfoot Boots, 2 mana equipment. Equipped creature is hexproof and haste. Equip 1. Viridian Longbow, 1 mana equipment. Equipped creature has tap. This creature deals 1 damage to any target. And equipped 3. Azorius Chancery. It's the blue-white Karu. And Panorama. It's the panorama for forest, plains, and island. You can pay 1 and sacrifice it to search for a forest, plains, or island. A basic forest, plains, or island. Put it into play tapped. Man Tower, we know what that does by now. Floodplain. Now, this was the original fetch land, or one of the original cycle of fetch lands from Mirage. There's the battlefield tapped. You can tap and sacrifice it to search your library for a plains or island card and put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. That includes duels. Grasslands does the same thing for plains and forests. Palomar Depths enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put them back in any order. Taps for a blue. Mishra's Factory, the original manland. Taps for a colorless, and then for 1, it becomes a 2/2 artifact creature until end of turn that's an assembly worker. And you can tap it to buff an assembly worker by +1/+1 till end of turn. Path of Ancestry. Enters the battlefield tapped, then adds 1 color of your commander's color identity. When it's spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. That also includes your commander. Seaside Citadel, it's the Bant Wedge, so green, white, blue. Cement Growth Chamber, the green, blue Karu. Terramorphic Expanse, fetches a basic. Thriving Grove, Heath, and Isle are the thrivings for green, white, and blue respectively. They enter tapped, and you choose a color other than the color it normally produces. And you can tap it for the color or the chosen color. Vitu-Ghazi, the City Tree. This was a all-star back in Ravnica block. Taps for a colorless, or you can pay 2 a green and a white to create a 1/1 green sapperling creature. We have our basics. 1, 2, 3, 4 islands. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 forests. And 2 plains. Only 2 plains. Then we have Galia, Kindler of Hope. Let's see, we have 3 angel tokens, 4 angel tokens. There are also sapperlings. And 6 knights that are also sapperlings. Apparently they think you're going to make a whole bunch of sapperlings, which is probably correct. Then a turn order reminder and popular formats. Very nice. This looks like a fantastic starting place for an Enchantress style or kind of Hammer Time style deck. Now, it has some great upgrade paths. I mentioned a few throughout the deck, covering the deck, but also cards like Sigarda's Aid, Esper Sentinel would be really good. If you look at some of the Hammer Time lists or like Boggles lists, they would give you a good idea of some directions that you could take it. So yeah, great start to a Bant, either Equipment Matters or Enchantment Matters, or kind of a hybrid between the two deck. All right, well, thank you for joining me on this adventure in the Forgotten Realms. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel in a non-monetary fashion. If you'd like to help out the channel in a monetary fashion, that option's available too through our Patreon, which is linked in our About page. Gives you access to some really cool stuff, including our Discord, and a whole bunch of other goodies for as little as $1 a month. If that's something that interests you, check it out. It would really help out the channel. But otherwise, until next time, stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.